worth watching. 56 years and counting.
Welcome back, everybody, here to today's episode of Worth Watching. Sarah Murphy here with the one, the only, the beloved Craig Wirth.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I'll just settle with Craig. That's fine.
No, Craig, we're so excited. We know you have a lot of good stuff, as always, in store for us today.
Well, we're going to talk about how Utah has changed, and that's through the various jobs.
Cool.
Things that just don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
We're going to look at Park City mines. We're going to go into a Park City mine way underground where it's a little creepy and dark.
Behind the scenes.
We're going to go look at some old labor unions. There used to be a union for everything, including the people who shined your shoes. They had a union. Everybody did. And where people went out to the Great Salt Lake and dug for salt. We're going to talk how people lived on farms during statehood. Now, way back when, I interviewed everyone I could find who was alive when Utah became a state in 1896. So these would have been people that would have been 100 years old or older that I interviewed. Of course, unfortunately, they're gone. But we learned what it was like being on a farm. And then one of my favorite, we're going to look at people, how they used to shop for groceries when you get all dressed up.
Oh, and it was a fancy occasion.
It was a fancy deal.
Yeah, I
fancy
love
employees.
that.
We're going to do all that. So, well, I'll tell you what. Let's start not on the top of the land. Let's start underground in the mines of Park City. There were 900 miles of mines underneath Park City. Let's take a look.
Okay.
There was a moment they paused from their hard work beneath Park City. There was a moment they lived for at the end of the shift. Park City miners waited for Miners' Day. It was their day. And the reason was, it was the one time that the miners would come out of the tunnels from below these streets and come up here to parade, to have competitions, and to just let off steam. Oh my, it was quite a day. A classy celebration in 1911. A day to buy new shoes for fun above ground. A day to compete against all the other miners. A big day for Park City. The history of mining continues to fade away. It's been years since those of us who were not miners had so much as a glimpse of ore and the famed coalition mine building. And it hasn't been the same since 2017, when Park City lost the man they called the Old Miner. Rich Martinez was the legendary champ of many miners' days.
They were very important because it kind of set apart who was the miners and who weren't.
So to help keep the history of mining alive, we relived the day in 1994. The old miner Richard Martinez took me into the hidden shafts of the old mine. The long cables would carry us down as they have for years. Governors controlled the speed. The level indicator told those above we were descending deep into the earth. The various tunnels and drifts flashed by from the small car. We were 1,500 feet below ground. There are enough miles of tunnels honeycombed beneath Park City to reach Chicago.
This is one of the dog houses. This is an old dog house. You can feel the temperature out there. Come on into this. Is the dog house is where the guys come to eat their lunch.
You can see the history. You can see the past. And it's all in a hidden world in solid rock, 150 stories below ground. It was hard work and dangerous work, and some were even convinced leprechauns were around the corner to scare you to death.
I've never heard any footsteps in here. Joe's heard footsteps. There's a lot of stories about guys that hear stuff and see stuff, and I've never been one of them fortunate enough to ever meet up with one of those little leprechauns.
We took an old mine train even deeper into the tunnels.
A lot of guys are scared. And a lot of the old miners, they would hide down in the drift. It would be nothing for a guy to make an extra effort to get down in a part of the drift where he could get up over the back of the drift, and you'd be walking down the drift, and you'd all of a sudden you just feel your hat lift off your head, and it'd be him doing this to you, just to scare you.
And it would.
It would scare you. It would scare you.
But 99% of the time, you worked hard in a place only you and the other miners knew of in this dark world.
There are people whose husbands, sons lived and died right here in this mine that never got a chance to ever come in and see what it looked like.
Yes, right there on the street above, you might forget the incredible history 1,500 feet below.
We're going to look at some other jobs that people had that are gone. I mean, mining, sure, there's a little bit of mining, but not like that.
No, not at all.
And entire towns survived on it. And in Salt Lake City, even, entire towns with the various unions.
Yeah.
There were bridge makers, the metal workers, the painters. You'll see it all, and we'll have it coming up. It's how we changed over jobs.
Okay, stay tuned, everybody. We will be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to Worth Watching. We're talking about all the different Utah jobs. All professions, you've said, had unions, it seems. Everyone from those who made stuff to even those who kept your boots nice and shined, Craig.
They all had unions, they all had groups, and they all had pride,
Yeah.
and they had parades. And that's what we're going to take a look at.
Okay.
It was a wonderful time in Salt Lake. Well, we think of those now forgotten who once labored to make Utah what it is today. Many were in jobs that are now highly automated. Such as those who toiled at the Great Salt Lake, harvesting salt in this almost 100-year-old film. It is in this report we honor those people who made a living the hard way. Oh, there were those who worked in conditions unlike anything that you see today. Of course, the miners, who often died young from their jobs. We honor them this weekend. Back when there was no OSHA to protect America's iron workers, no hard hats, just muscles and a big hammer working where the world didn't see them. Unseen? Well, except in the yearly Labor Day parade. And it was a grand success. Nearly a mile of workers walked down the street to the cheers of all. Utah Local 27 showed Salt Lake that they were the ones who built the bridges and the structures in 1903. The parade, it was a special time. You see, professions had uniforms back then, and Labor Day was the time to clean them up and press them. This was the Plasterers Union. And few professions had as fancy of a uniform as did those who worked the streetcars when they were housed in Trolley Square. The carmen had brass buttons, wool coats, and distinctive hats. They thrilled the crowds as they proudly took their part in early Labor Day parades. And there were those who worked in professions where every Labor Day they would gather for a union picture, often at City Hall. The iron workers finished the parade and posed at the city-county building, as did the bricklayers and masons. And those who were the inside wiremen, the ones who hooked up your house to the power pole. And may we remember those who were in forgotten professions, often youngsters, many orphans who would just try to scrape together a living. I am almost haunted by the faces of the kids of the street who were those known as boot blacks. They would re-black everyone's boots. They posed at the city-county building with their mascot, Troubles the dog, on Labor Day in 1907.
Latest football scores, morning paper.
Oh, and remember the cry of the newspaper boy, shouting out each headline. Apparently, they shouted out more than the news. A Salt Lake man said he would give $25 to one that could go a year without swearing. Yes, professions and professionals of the past
Linotype operators making lead sheets to print paper at the long-gone Helper, Utah Journal. Or those gas attendants who rushed to your car and filled it up with 18-cent high-test gas. And on Labor Day, let's think about one of the nation's largest and most famous unions, the garment workers, and the Utah Local.
They were still going strong late into the 1940s.
Oh, I suppose like many unions, it's lost a bit of its clout today. And they lost their old streetcars of the past, and they have lost their brass bands. But let's recognize them for how they worked long hours in tough conditions, and faced their labor each day with pride. And as they cheered all of them at the 1911 parade, let us remember those who built the great state of Utah.
Wow, and that's what we're doing, remembering. I'm so impressed by
People
that.
had hard jobs.
Yeah.
They worked hard, but they had such pride in it.
Yes.
And they dressed up and all had their uniform and brass bands. And they would parade down the street, and people would stand there and applaud them. And that's a good idea. I mean,
Yeah.
we don't applaud our workers like we used to.
No, it's a very different
We don't applaud those
time.
who are driving the buses. We don't applaud those who are cleaning the streets or doing landscaping work. And, you know, it's important that we think about it. But that's how Utah changed. We were a big labor place. So.
And I love that you can tell from that we took such pride in it. And how cool was that? Craig, you said video over 100 years old. How unique that was to see that.
You know,
that was
someday
awesome.
my collection's starting to be 100
No.
years old. That's what's, I mean, I've been at this for 56 years.
It's so cool to see,
Yeah, it's
though.
a
We
little
love it.
my old film. And myself, I'm getting up there too.
No, Craig.
So,
Well,
you
let's
know,
keep it going tonight.
Yeah, and people also were farmers.
Yeah.
And let's take a look at the centennial. I interviewed people from 1896 on how they lived. It was not nostalgia necessarily. It was hard work. Let's take a look.
Welcome back, everybody. We've got a lot of good stuff that we've showed you so far. Let's keep it going, Craig. Why not?
How about farming? That
Yes.
was that has changed a lot.
Yeah.
Farming, and out of respect for those who lived that farm life, it wasn't like you see in the movies. It was hard work.
Oh, yeah.
Let's take a look, you know, back in about 1996, when the state turned 100 years old, I found all the people I could who were over 100 years old to talk about the old days. Now, they might have been infants then, but they talked about how hard it was. Let's take a look.
Finally, Utah was state number 45. The union was complete. The temple showed off the new 45-star flag. The tabernacle was draped top to bottom. Statehood was welcomed with crowds rushing to Main Street, followed by a rousing parade. The city was decked out. ZCMI was covered in streamers, as was about every other building on Main.
You know, some of the buildings that lined Main Street during that Statehood Day parade are still with us. Unfortunately, the people are not. But 20 years ago, in preparation for Utah's centennial, I went out and interviewed everyone I could find who was alive when Utah became a state. Although, of course, they were infants then, they give us a first-hand look at the early days of Utah.
Ann Larson was born just before statehood. She remembers at the center of everyone's house was the combination heating and cooking stove.
We had an old-fashioned stove, is right. And you had to keep the fire going all day.
Utah itself was a tough transition for Easterner Mary Carpenter. She found here you grew everything you cooked.
And I had to learn how to cook all those things and how to make bread, and oh, it was quite different. It wasn't fun.
For most, it was a struggle.
especially for those eking out a living on a farm. Each day was like the one before it.
Just get up at daylight and bend your back all day and work.
Was it fun?
Was it fun?
Yeah.
Well, if you call hard work fun, I guess we had a lot of fun.
Yes, we see the excitement over statehood, but in the people now gone, we learn that it was a tough life, even for the kids.
I got a pair of skates. My folks, I wanted a pair of ice skates, but I never learned to skate on them because the neighbor kids never had time to skate. Their mother wouldn't let them play. They had work for them to do in the house.
It was not only a full day, but a full night, as you had to water your crops when the water was available, even at 3 in the morning.
I hated that. Oh, you'd have to get up, take your turn, taking the water.
But there were some favorite moments, such as when the Iceman came on a warm day.
We had an ice box, and the Iceman came every day, and we would jump on the back of the ice truck and eat a lot of their ice.
And the thrill of riding the streetcars.
They go bang, bang, bang down the street.
January 4th was a time to take those trolleys to Main Street and forget about daily life for a moment, for Utah was a state. And today we honor that fact. Let us remember the people who lived in that moment and honor their struggles, their triumphs, their hard work, and their dreams.
Life.
How cool was it to hear from them, though? How difficult was it to track them down, those lovely women?
Well, people know, you just call certain people, and they all had like friends, and they say, well, you think I'm old,
Utah's
she's
a small
102.
world in that way.
And the wisdom, but also the memories, and if there's a lesson from it, is that people worked hard.
Yeah.
And they worked harder the next day.
Oh, for sure.
And that's
Comes
what
across,
it was.
doesn't it?
We are very lucky today. And we're very lucky that we're taking a nostalgic look at things like, for example, just daily life.
Yeah.
And one of those jobs that has changed so much is something we all do, grocery shopping.
Oh, classic.
Now, again, I know you're a little younger than me, like by about 900 years
not
younger.
by much, Craig.
But, oh, yeah. and this is like when I remember I'd go shopping with my mother and all dressed up.
Oh, look at them in their blazers. This is fancy.
The fancy stuff.
We got more. Stay with us.
All right, we all go shopping, and that's one thing, again, that has changed.
Yes, it's my favorite part of the week, just so you know. I love a good shopping trip. It's so exciting. I went today, and I went yesterday. I go as many times as I can.
And that's fun?
It is fun.
Oh,
I don't know.
goodness.
The unloading,
I mean,
no, but yeah.
You have to shop because otherwise you die, if you don't eat.
It is important,
And you got to buy clothes because it's kind of legal, you got to wear them. I mean, there's just no good, well, I know we have a lot of sponsors who are stores, so I take that all back. Just keep shopping, keep advertising, and keep us
you're
going.
Making me laugh. Yeah, keep shopping, keep spending money, everybody.
This is all about food shopping, which changed an awful lot.
Okay.
Shopping for food. Well, maybe it isn't quite the time to dress up anymore. It was so formal. Even the shelves were so neat, like this Salt Lake store in 1947. Yep, the shelves were spruced up because they all knew you were spruced up. All in all, it was a spruced up deal.
One thing is sure, a daily battle is being waged in supermarkets all over this country. A battle for the customer's dollar.
After all, you were paying 21 cents for 2 boxes of Wheaties and 27 cents for a dozen donuts. Not to mention 19 cents for a tin of peanut butter. So, yep, You put on the dog for the dog at about $0.10 a can of Fido food. Now a store was that place down the street, such as on Main and 6th South in 1930. There were dozens and dozens and dozens of neighborhood markets, all to help you get a swell meal in the 1940s. Then something happened. Supermarkets, wow, with lots of shelves and lots of lights, cool, and more stacks of stuff, and they cracked the egg market wide open.
Who but Kroger sells cackling fresh eggs?
Nobody.
Supermarkets were food department stores, all kinds of departments, and the grocer became a pro, uniform and all.
Pat has 18 years experience and was International Checker of the Year in 1962.
The first thing I do when I start the day is get my cash from the head checker. In a busy week, $5,000 or more may pass through my register.
By the 1970s, they were your best friends.
We're your loyal friends at Safeway. Count on us to do it your way. Come and see us soon at Safeway. Since we're neighbors, let's be friends.
Yep, supermarkets had it all, even space-age looking buildings. But oops, they discovered one problem. You did not like standing in line, even for your best friends.
Smith's customers are talking about our challenge to end long lines.
Smith is living up to its promise of ending long lines.
For savings, for service, Smith's, we are the ones.
Well, next time you go to the store, remember this. There was a time that you got all dressed up to bring home the beans.
That was just, again,
all that
things
for beans.
changed.
Yes, they
all
do.
That you would get.
I spruced up, you say. I like that term. Also, I very much respect them because the fact that I'm wearing slippers here on our show, I know, and they would wear heels to the grocery store, and I'm doing anything I can to get out of that. So much respect their way for the beans.
I never had any idea. I learned
the
something
magic
new
of
about
TV,
you.
Everybody, I know. What a cool time, though. All of these stories,
all those
Craig,
things,
it's so
all
unique.
the people, and again, they were all pros.
Yes.
And it was a job, it was a career, but it was also a vocation.
Oh.
And you know, speaking of vocation, I've been doing this one for 56 years, and we're having a lot of fun.
We are, and we're so glad we got to go along with you, Craig. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you back here next episode.
You
of Worth
got it.
Watching.